Hi, and welcome back to Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. It is June 22nd, 2017, and it's been a while since I did a video, and so I just wanted to take you on a little bit of a tour, show you success, show you failures, things like that. Also, this is part of my side business of growing local organic produce to sell at farmers markets and church bazaars and other functions like that, as well as restaurants, and hopefully one day grocery stores. Um, so that business is called Pittman's Produce. That's the name of my company. And so what I got going on here is I have in this 4x8 raised bed, I have radishes, and I also have a couple different varieties of arugula and a little bit of carrots. Kind of ran out of seeds on certain things, so I decided to finish up the rest of the bed with some carrots. So you can see, hopefully, the little carrot seedlings. They're very small, and so I have those right in here. Over here is some spotty germination of this is arugula. It's a wild variety, so the chefs tend to like the wild variety. And I did meet with an executive chef here a few weeks back, about maybe 3 weeks ago or so, and we sat and talked a little bit, and he confirmed that chefs generally do like the wild variety of arugula. They would prefer it. So I have some of that, and I have regular standard varieties here as well, more for salads, I guess. So these are things I plan on, selling and everything like that. And let's see what's going on over here. Here are my green beans. These are pole bean varieties of green beans, and they are going to, well, they're already doing things that you can see them going up the poles, and I have the trellis netting for them. And I'm having more success as far as the leaves go this year, the green leaves. I wasn't sure if these things were going to make it, but here's the secret, or here's the thing that I have learned that has now made these plants so healthy and strong. And that is, and like I said, this lush green that you see. And that is, I used a bean and pea inoculant, which is a rhizomal ingredient, rhizomes, that you usually, what you do is you when you're soaking your seeds, you would put this inoculant, this rhizomal inoculant for beans and peas, in the water that you're soaking the beans with, and they'll absorb into the seed coat and into the little baby plants inside. And so that helps them to get nodules on their roots. And then what that in turn does is allows these plants, the green beans and other legumes, to pull and use nitrogen from the air. So that's what's giving this healthy green. Now, the last couple of years I've tried green beans, I've had spotty success. The leaves looked limey green. They just weren't healthy. I got a few beans here and there, but the leaves just look pathetic. And this year, when I used the inoculant, it took a few days, but things kicked in, and now they've got greened up. And now I will say that I did not put the inoculant in with the seedlings. So if you don't do that at the beginning stages when you're planting your seeds, all's not lost. I sat there, and when I transplanted my green beans into this raised bed, I took some of the inoculant and I sprinkled it onto the roots of the transplant and a little bit into the soil, and then into the hole that the plant was going into, and then I transplanted it, and it works. And I can't take credit for all of that, but I learned from other people that stuff can be done. So other things going on in here, I have maybe 3 or 4 you know, squash and or zucchinis in here. You can see a smidgen of Salanova, which I do need to cut that so I can at least have a bag or two maybe for people. Let's see, I have that one basil plant in there that's, it was looking pretty pathetic. It was in my front yard and I moved it back here. Hopefully it'll do better, and hopefully there's better soil. I've interplanted a little bit of, you can probably see it right in front of my fingertip right there, is a little bit of Thai basil sprinkled around, transplanted around a few of these the zucchini and squash to try to mask their scent from the squash bugs and vine borers and things like that. So we'll see. Cucumbers, very late on my cucumbers. The first ones that I planted out back in May, we had a cool May and very rainy May, and those plants just died and peeled out. So I'm late on my cucumbers. These weren't doing very much, but now they're starting to come alive now that I transplanted them into the soil and everything. So they're starting to do a little bit better. Sorry for the length of this video. I did want to show you real quick. A surprise to me was that, and I'm in the apples, excuse me, I'm going through my apple trees. I had 2 apples that I didn't know existed until a few weeks ago. Let's see if I can find that apple again. There he is. There's the one I see up there. He's hiding up in there. Now there was a second one, but I'm having a hard time finding it. I don't know if a critter came and got it. But this is on my, whatchamacallit, this is on my apple crisp variety. And I thought all was lost as far as getting apples because the worms or whatever laid eggs, moths or whatever laid eggs on them, and they just decimated what little I had growing. But a couple weeks later I discovered, oh, there's a couple apples up there. So, but now I only am seeing one. Maybe I'll find them later, or maybe he doesn't exist anymore. Here are my blueberries. I need to get out here and do some more harvesting. I've already harvested one off of mostly these 2 sweetheart varieties, which are my early ones. And to me, some of the best tasting blueberries ever, these sweetheart varieties. And actually what I did was I harvested about 3.5 pounds of blueberries my first time out here. And I sold those as part of my Pittman's produce. And I made a decent chunk of change off of it. And that restaurant is using those to make blueberry pies and blueberry muffins and all kinds of stuff for its customers. And so that's doing pretty good. So I wasn't initially going to do that with these blueberries. It wasn't part of my plan going into this stuff. It just kind of, I picked a bunch one morning and I said, oh, let me just put an email out to the various restaurants I've been in contact with and see what they go for, see if they want them. And one company did. Now let's move over here. Well, these are the blackberries. I've had some good, decent success with them. I haven't really protected them from the birds, so I'm sure the birds have gotten a decent amount of them. I picked a few, and I had a few, and they're very delicious, especially when you get them just right. Here's my grape plants. This is particularly my Concord grape plant. And as you can see, yay, I have grapes growing. This is the first for me. So I have all these beautiful clusters of grapes out here. And so these have done pretty good. Vines have grown, the cordons have grown out a lot better this year, and I just got done pruning them back because they were way out here into the grass, so I cut them back. This was a sunflower that was a voluntary one. It just planted it, let the seed there, and it came up when the temperatures and everything got right. Goji berries aren't doing very well. I don't know if something has attacked them or whatever, but Japanese beetles are out in force. They were held at bay, I think, for a while for the month of May because of the cooler weather and the wet weather, but yeah, early June they really started hitting in here. And so I've been out here spraying with spinosad and everything, and trying to get them, keep them at bay. Over here, these are radishes in those two areas right there. In fact, these are doing better than the other radishes, and they were only planted maybe 2-3 days maybe apart from each other, but these are doing a lot better, this particular variety. And so we'll see. I also have carrots in here as well because I ran out of seeds. That's a lesson learned. I thought that you got plenty of seeds. I mean, 500 seeds to a pack, but man, it doesn't go very far. I can tell you that much right now. And now on to one of my not so good successes, and was the onions. And as you can see, they've been out here for a while, and it looks like a lot and everything, and it looks like, oh my gosh, you got a lot of great stuff here. But look at all these things. These are all misshapen. They're supposed to be big and round, and these are just horrible. And they're still soft, and just not, worth selling. And a lot of them are mushy, or they're on one side it's mushed and everything like this right here. I can take my thumb and just, and the other side is, it's like a half of an onion or whatever. So, I'm still going to cut them and still salvage them. I can't sell them, not like that. I still got these 3 beds that used to have the strawberries in them. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with these yet. I'm kind of in between stages in my life right now as far as this business and everything. And I'm like, in my gardening, which for the past several years, if you've been following videos, it's been a very high passion of mine, just growing things just for my family and for myself and for fun. And I still like to do that. But now the business is kind of like, kind of creeping into that. So what I mean by that is, well, it's about almost time for me to start getting out some pumpkin seeds if I want them to be ready by Halloween. And that's how all of this got started for me years ago. Was my daughter Piper and I we had saved some jack-o'-lantern seeds one Halloween, and next spring there they are. They're in the drawer in a Ziploc bag. I'm saying, I forgot about these. Well, let's just go ahead and plant them outside. And that's how everything got started. My journey through all of this stuff today started with just a few pumpkin seeds, and because I love the season of fall, and my daughter Piper does too. And what better way to kind of get that spirit going than having some pumpkins too. So that's where I all got going, and here I am. But anyways, it's about time for me to start getting some pumpkin seeds in, and my beds are taken up that I would normally be setting aside for pumpkins. They're taken up with things for either the family or for the business. So I got Swiss chard and everything going up front, and seedlings, and more Salanova lettuce and things like that. And but I got my other plot over at my mother-in-law's house that I've been working on, and I got peppers and tomatoes out there, and they're doing pretty decent now. Finally kicking in. But I got a lot of room for expansion out there. So I'm like, well, do I just take the Swiss chard and things like that and put that out there, and maybe do the pumpkins in here? Do I do pumpkins in both places? Maybe just do it out there. Because I really have to protect my pumpkin plants from the squash bugs and vine borers and cucumber beetles. And I always like to get up and hand pollinate them, as if you see my past videos. But I don't know. I might do both, but I just don't know yet. I just don't know. And let me finish off last but certainly not least. Here we are at the orange tree. This is the blood orange, and nothing on there, but that's to be expected. And this is my mandarin satsuma, and you can see I have 2 oranges left that are survived. So that's how many this tree can handle this year, is 2 oranges, at least right now. It's got a long way to go. Don't know how big these will get, don't know if they'll make it all the way, but you know, this is a good progress. So I apologize for the length of video, but it has been a while since I've done one, and there's so much to cover. That's my other great plant right there, the I can't remember what it's called, red flame, I believe. But it's not it's grown pretty good this year, but it's not produced anything this year, and that could very well be because of the Japanese beetles that just decimated this stuff last year. Those boogers are in the apple trees, and they're just everywhere. You know, they really ruin a person's desire to grow certain plants, just like squash bugs and vine borers and things ruin it for zucchinis and pumpkins and squash and other thing like that. So, all right, blackberries, still ripening. The new growth and the old growth going on at the same time. A couple months from now or so, I'll be out here pruning these old canes off. And I probably should be doing a little bit of tip nipping on some of these canes that are getting very tall, like that one right there. And like this one right up there. Getting very tall. I need to cut that back because what happens is it gets so weighted down that it snaps and bends over. And really I lose some production, as I have found out this year. One of my canes that was real big and strong just snapped, too much weight. So you need to really get these things tipped off, cut off at the tips so that they'll put side shoots out and more fruiting for next year. Well, all right. Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch, Pittman's Produce. There you go. Is that enough Pittman's for you? All right. Any comments or questions, post them down below. Hopefully soon I'll have a bunch of salad mix ready to go, and some radishes and some Swiss chard and some carrots, and you know, I'm learning as I go. So thanks for tuning in. Bye.